In this video, I'm going to discuss what the due diligence process looks like if you're going to actually be purchasing an existing residential assisted living business. So if you're interested, make sure to stick around. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serg. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown me. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out the God Made podcast on all streaming platforms. And also feel free to go check out Legion Assisted Living Academy and check out the mentorship link down below where you can schedule a half hour with me for $150. So make sure to go check that out. And then also, if you have not yet, go check out valleyalfventures.com if you're looking to passively invest in this industry and how you can possibly do that with us on any of our deals and properties that we are acquiring. And if you're actually an operator looking to lease, which this video will actually be relevant to you, or you're wanting to do a lease option to eventually own the real estate at some point, make sure to go check out valleyalfventures.com and submit on there. And also, if you haven't, make sure to go check us out on Instagram at valleyalfventures as well. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Now, the due diligence process for going through and purchasing an existing residential assisted living business is going to be pretty in-depth, and I'm going to try to cover as much of that as possible. So make sure you get a pen and a paper out and write this down as a checklist to be able to do this while you're looking to possibly purchase an existing business, whether that's you leasing or purchasing the real estate. But that's a different topic, which I've covered in previous videos. But in this topic, it's just going to be mainly what you're going to want to be doing while you're going through the due diligence of purchasing an existing business. Now, the very first thing that you will want to actually look at, and if you're able to, is to get the P&Ls for that current business, the profit and loss statements for that current business, and running a pro forma based off of that profit and loss. And once you're actually get your offer accepted and you're in the due diligence, that's where you're going to be able to request more items such as residency agreements, utility bills, etc., to really get an idea of what your numbers are going to look like. So essentially, you're going to also want to make sure while you're running that pro forma to also make sure that you get the certificate of occupancy, get a copy of that. Also make sure to get the fire inspection from the actual fire department of that city. So make sure that you call them and that you get that fire inspection that was the most recent one, and make sure that you have that on hand and in your due diligence folder, because that's going to be very crucial. If the zoning is already in place and the fire inspection's already been done, that means that everything is good to go in the sense of the zoning. And if that's not been done, when you go to do a change of ownership on that license, which I'll discuss here in a little bit, you're going to need that. So make sure you get the most recent certificate of occupancy, and then also the most recent for the fire inspection. And another thing is, depending on what city zoning you're in, you may have to redo the certificate of occupancy. So that could be an issue, that could not, but it just all depends. So you want to make sure you do that. And like I mentioned, during the due diligence, you want to get those residency agreements, because you want to see what their average rates are per resident, per bed, per month. And if you're able to have enough margin to be able to show that that business is actually operating very well, that's what you want to be looking for. You want to see what you're actually getting for the amount that you're paying for that business. So you want to look at those residency agreements, because that's essentially what you're going to be paying for. And those residents can move out eventually or pass away. So you currently want to be paying for what's in the home and not what it could potentially be making. So hopefully that makes sense. Another thing that you want to be looking at is the business license, the current license that is on the home. You want to make sure that you do your own due diligence on that and make sure that you look at all the previous inspections that were on that property, what kind of deficiencies they've had, if they've had any, and also just the goodwill of that business. Does it have a good reputation? Do the reviews on Google, are they 2-star, 1-star, 4 stars, 5-star? You want to see what the reputation of that business currently is. And you also want to make sure that any renovations that were done to that current property, that you get copies of those permits and any additions that were done to the home, that they have all of that permitted. The last thing you'd want is for something to not be done properly with the proper permits from the city, because eventually they could have you redo it all if there's no permits in place when they come to do an inspection with the fire department. That could be something that will cost you very, very much if you don't have those proper permits for those additions that were done. And then the last thing you'd also want is to make sure you have your inventory list. So you want to see exactly what all the furnitures, fixtures, and equipment, which is also FF&E. So when you see that during your due diligence, what that consists of, you want to make sure that you get that list of FF&E. So that way, when you do take over, that you do a cross-reference, make sure all that equipment is still there, and that you negotiate. Maybe there's some things that you want out of the home prior to you taking over, but that stuff can be done during the negotiations aspect of it. And so you want to acquire all these items before your due diligence period is done. Once your due diligence period is done, then at the end of the day, you have all this, you have a checklist of everything. So I'm going to go back and tell you exactly what you need. So you're going to need your COO, your certificate of occupancy, the most recent fire inspection from the fire department of that city. You're also going to need the profit and loss statements. If you can get monthly, great. If you can get yearly, that's fine as well. But the monthly will give you a really good idea of what your actual expenses will be. And then you're going to want the residency agreements as well to see exactly what all the rates are. And that could give you a really good idea of what your actual gross income is going to be for the month. And then you can run a more proper pro forma. And a pro forma is what you'll do on your own. It's not something that will be provided by the seller to you. Also, you want to make sure you get the license, a copy of the license, and that you run everything on that specific property, as far as the goodwill, like I said, the reviews, also the deficiencies that they've had with the state, if they've had any, and then how that was corrected. And then you'll also want to get those permits for any additions that were done or any renovations. And then also you'll want to get an inventory list. So these are all the items you're going to want during your due diligence period of when you're actually looking to acquire an existing business. And I know that this video was a lot more. There's so much more I can go into with each of those items and what to look at specifically. But that is something you can check out at Legion Assisted Living Academy, and or schedule a mentorship call with me, and we can definitely discuss those items more in depth. This video just gives you more of an idea of what to expect while you're going through your due diligence. And if your broker is well-versed and is able to help you to make sure you get these items, great. A lot of times they really leave that up to each buyer to do on their own. And that's why hopefully this video did help you and give you a way better idea of what to expect once you go and get your offer accepted and start the due diligence period. And if it did help, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and continue to share with other people who you may think could benefit from this video. And make sure to go check us out at valleyalfventures.com and check us out on Instagram at valleyalf as well. Valley ALF Ventures on Instagram, and check us out. Give us a follow on there. And with that being said, thank you so much, and I will talk to you all in the next one.